Okay, welcome back to the Center for Communications Make It in Media podcast. Today, we're diving into part 2 of our Where Do I Start series. If you know exactly what you love and the direction you're heading in, go you. Seriously, gold stars all around. But if you're someone who's still figuring it out, you know you want in, but you're still not sure on how to break into media or where to begin, here's another episode for you. Because the truth is, your passion and profession can go hand in hand. You just need to learn how to bring them together. So, whether you're a sports fan with an eye for graphic design or a theater kid looking for a practical way to make it in the Big Apple, this episode will give you options, ideas, and a reality check or two. Now, let's start with someone who knows exactly what it means to merge creativity and competition. Here's Komal Bukunwala, VP of Graphic Innovation and Design at CBS Sports. She's been in the game for nearly 2 decades, and her work lives at the intersection of design, tech, and the thrill of fast-paced sports storytelling.
Hi, I'm Komal Bukunwala. I oversee all of the creative for CBS Sports. I've been in the sports business, I think, for the last 17 or 18 years. Started as a designer in print, but slowly graduated to doing 3D design, and then in the last decade have been focusing on everything virtual production, from AR to XR to MR to VR, all of the letters. And it's been a fun journey. I was probably the first to introduce virtual technology to CBS Sports. I am dating myself a little bit, but it was an exciting time, more than 15 years ago. And the technology has come a long way since then, and I've been a part of the growth of that technology inside of the sports business.
Okay, so Komal's been ahead of the curve when it comes to blending design and technology in sports. And believe me, her work days are anything but boring. Here's what a typical day looks like for her.
It's like no other. It's at a pace that is so fast. My day starts with talking about, what we're going to do in our games this weekend. And it might end with a challenge that is coming in golf like 3 months from now. So, I have probably about 7 or 8 projects that are running live at the same time. On the weekend, on Fridays and Saturdays, we oversee college football, and we have a live virtual production going on from New York, happening in various parts of the country. We plan, we design, we develop within 4 hours for a game like that. We're working in Unreal Engine to design graphics that are storytelling graphics. So that starts on a Wednesday, ends and has to be delivered by a Friday. We do long-term planning for sports that are coming in January. So, bunch of Zoom calls talking about how we can innovate in golf and Masters and, March Madness. So it goes on and on.
So maybe your passion isn't in sports. Maybe it's in theater, film, or performance. Let's take it over to Destiny Lilly, casting director for Hulu's Only Murders in the Building. She started in theater and ended up in casting through a path that wasn't exactly linear either.
Well, sure, yes. I went to college at Emory University in Atlanta. I studied theater and English literature. I left college thinking I wanted to direct plays and maybe design them. And I went to London and I studied at the Central School of Speech and Drama there and focused on sound design. And then I moved to New York and I said, how does one make a living directing plays? A question I still don't know the answer to.
But we're gonna find out.
I don't know. I don't know how you make a living directing plays. But I had some fellowships at different theaters as I was trying to pursue this career as a director. I was directing at very small theaters all over New York for a few years. And then one of the fellowships I got was at the Ensemble Studio Theater. And they were like, oh, would you like to use your fellowship hours to work on casting and help our casting director? And I was like, sure, that sounds fun. And I loved it. I was like, oh, this is casting. I get to work with actors. It has a lot of the same skills as directing in that you get to work with actors, you get to break down a script, you're doing the same things. And I realized at that moment that this was something I could do that felt like a more consistent career. Still hard to make a living at, but that felt like a path that I could follow. And then that casting director helped me get my first job in casting, which was actually casting background actors, which was an incredible experience where I learned a lot. Also, I learned I did not want to cast background actors. So then I moved on and did more principal casting. And for the last 8 years, I've been at the Telsey office, which is a casting office here in New York that does theater, film, and television. And yeah.
So Destiny found her niche through trial, error, and unexpected opportunities. And along the way, she discovered a skill set that made casting the perfect fit for her. Sounds familiar? Great. Here's what Destiny's day-to-day looks like so you can get an idea.
This is a people business in the sense of like getting to know people, and it doesn't matter if it's like Steven Spielberg or if it's, you know, someone fresh out of school, like treating that person with kindness and respect, making sure that you are always focused on like a kind of client services mindset, making sure that you're taking care of the people that you're working with, that is a big part of the process. Especially for me, I find it really important to, like every audition, even if an actor doesn't get the job, I hope they had a good time. I hope they enjoyed that process, that the actual process was a good process for them. And we try to make sure that that's a priority, that even if, you know, they don't end up with the job, they still had a great experience. You know, we send people to set, we hope they have a great experience. Like all of those things, trying to build a positive experience for people is a really big part of the way that I approach work, and those kind of things that I learned along the way, and always treating everybody with kindness and respect. And it usually, and also like it comes back to help you, because 10 years later, somebody's like, you were nice to me at this audition where I felt like I bombed, and I was like, really? I don't remember. But I'm so glad that was your experience. So I think that's a big part of it as well.
Okay, first, 2 takeaways for you. Number 1, you have plenty of passions. That's cool. But take the time to explore which ones complement each other and can shape a media career you are truly proud of. Number 2, sometimes your dream job is just your skill set in a new setting, like Destiny. So be open to pivoting. All right, now let's throw it to Oliver Darcy, founder and lead author of media website Status. He's got something for you, emerging journalists who might not know exactly where to fit in.
Well, one, I guess you already introduced me.
You
I
gotta
used to
explain
work
yourself.
at CNN. I covered the news media and the media at large. And last 8 months ago, I left CNN and I found Status, which is covering the same topics each night, 6 nights a week. And we survive from reader subscriptions. That's how we make the bulk of our revenue. Reader subscriptions, a little bit of advertising money, but I think probably over 95% of it, it's all based on the readers. You know, for me, every day, I'm like, what scoop can I land today? What scoop can we clear across the desk? You know, I've heard this, let's pursue this. There's no time, and I want to deliver as much as possible because at the end of the day, I'm now directly working for readers, and I feel like they're paying for a product. I want to deliver on it. But also, you know, there's something lingering in the back of your head that maybe all this goodness will just disappear if I don't deliver. And so I think that added pressure actually makes me a better journalist, but it does add pressure to the equation.
Oliver turned his love for politics and journalism into his own platform, Status. That's proof that when you blend passion with purpose, you can build something powerful. And just remember, if you're carving out your own lane, whether it's a newsletter, a podcast, or a whole new media brand, do it with your audience in mind, not your ego like we did here. And yeah, the pressure's real, but it pushes you to level up. Next up, someone who helps people like you break in. Here's Jackie Shahid's early careers manager at Warner Bros. Discovery on her first-gen experience and non-linear journey into the entertainment industry.
So my career path has not been linear. I was how many first-generation students do we have here? All right, so you understand that navigating the career trajectory when not having parents that were born and raised here is a challenge into itself. However, I graduated during the recession, and I think many of you can appreciate the challenges that we are all facing. So much like you, I treaded in super uncharted territory, and there was not much of opportunity. And opportunity was presented to me, It was a leadership development opportunity. However, it was not in the industry I was looking for. But it was working for Lady Foot Locker, which is RIP, no more. It's been Foot Locker since 2015. So I took the opportunity, and I feel that every opportunity that you can take, you can learn from. So quickly after taking the opportunity at Lady Foot Locker, I realized retail hours were not for me. However, I gained exceptional customer service skills, operation, management. I hired people. Fast forward, who knew I would be in talent acquisition, but it was there for a reason. Within that opportunity, I hired someone that actually gave me my next opportunity. So I hired someone to be on my staff, but she gave me an opportunity. And my next step was very intentional when I went into talent acquisition. And when I tell you, I found my golden egg, my golden ticket, that was it. I knew that talent acquisition was my area of expertise, what I love doing, and that brought me into working for a different financial services organization. I spent the majority of my career at Prudential Financial, having several different opportunities that were presented to me. But I will say, my favorite industry ever, and I'm not just saying that because I work for Warner Brothers Discovery, has been the entertainment industry. And that's because it really resonates with who I am as a person, my culture, and I think in entertainment companies, at least Warner Brothers Discovery, the opportunity for inclusion, diversity, and the excitement of the entertainment industry really just resonates with me. So I'm excited that I've been able to create strategies. As you mentioned, my role is creating strategies to pipeline intern talent into the organization. So I've been with Warner Brothers Discovery for 3 years. I have the pleasure of being the early career manager. So I'm part of the larger early talent team, which is the amazing team that brings in our interns into the company. We have 3 internship cycles. My team creates strategies to pipeline the interns into entry-level roles and early career programs. That's part 1. Part 2 is once you're an intern at WBD, you're always part of the family. So we created strategies on alumni strategies. We have different ways of connecting. We have a large community of alumni that we want them to come back, whether they are converted right from a senior or whether they've left the company and it's been 5 years. We want you to come back to Warner Brothers Discovery. So my team creates strategies such as different events, exclusive opportunities to apply, where you get an exclusive window of opportunity to apply for roles at Warner Brothers Discovery, newsletters, opportunities to network. So that's a second area of my role. And then the third area is I serve as the relationship manager to our diversity organizations like Center for Communication. And again, being a first-gen student, I'm really passionate about helping students feel that they belong, that they have a voice, and pipelining the talent into our intern program. So those would be the 3 areas of my role. Our team, they go through hundreds and thousands of applications for our spring, summer, and fall intern program. My director's in the audience somewhere. Oh, there she is.
She's vouching for the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely amazing. The diverse voices and talent that we bring into organization are our leaders for tomorrow and our best storytellers. So it's really exciting.
All right, let's lock in 3 gems from today's guest because they really drop knowledge for anyone starting out. First, your career path doesn't have to and may never be straight or anything like you ever imagined. Whether you're bouncing from design to casting or retail to recruiting, growth and progress often comes from the zigzags. Second, the key isn't just what you're good at, is what lights you up. When you blend your passion with your profession, work just starts to feel a lot more like purpose. Finally, if you're thinking of launching something on your own like Oliver did with Status, do it with intention. Serve your audience, stay consistent, and don't be afraid of the pressure. Sometimes it's the pressure that proves you're ready. All right, before we wrap up, you know what time it is. It's time for your Media Moves pep talk. Let's hear from some folks who will remind you why this field is worth it, because there's a place for you. Let's pass the mic to Rejam Nijan, founder of Culture House and a longtime member of the Center for Communications Board of Directors.
I would say whenever you're out there independently in the entertainment industry or in any, even not so, protecting your confidence is really, really important because there's lots of detractions along the way. It might be other people, it might be society at large, it might be social media, it might be whatever it is. And finding and really honing in on what gives you self-esteem and what gives you confidence. And as you go through this career, to hone into those parts of your personal life in your life, because it is a tough industry and you need to walk into it feeling really, really good about yourself and not taking things personally.
And to close it out, here is actor John Roberts, the voice of Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers, with some heartfelt and hilarious advice.
Well, I'd say motivation comes from not giving up and figuring out like the most basic reason why you're doing it in the first place. Like, why did I end up doing this as opposed to being a doctor? Well, I'm an idiot, that's why. And I don't have any other choices, but I could now. I mean, I think that you have to kind of have fun. You always have to just remind yourself of the fun part and why it is really a special business. Because there's a lot of other stuff that goes on that could be a real turnoff in showbiz and get you really discouraged, and you could really compare and despair. And I try to always say, like, I'm my own unique thing, and everyone else has got their, there's enough room in the garden for everyone to grow. So you have to, don't compare and despair. Be honest with yourself and your work, and have a plan. It's nice to work with other people that are good at what they do, and maybe not try to do it all yourself, but keep making things that are inspiring to you and inspire other people. Because you're always going to get some kind of feedback that'll keep you going.
Let your passion guide your path, even if it shifts or shows up in ways you didn't expect. Today's speakers, they didn't start where they ended up. They followed their curiosity, developed new skills, and they stayed open to new possibilities. Okay, everyone, I hope you're a little closer to finding your pathway into this exciting field. We'll be here for you every step of the way. Join us for our next episode on how to ace that internship. Let's get that inbox flooded with offer letters. I'm Camila Brango. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, and remember, you got this. Make It in Media from the Center for Communication is produced in association with BRIC, a leading arts and media institution anchored in downtown Brooklyn. Camila Brango is the show's host. The lead writer and executive producer is Derek Bourbon. Marangelica De Castro is the floor manager and head of social media. Fred Brown is the supervising producer. Clinton Filson Jr. is the director. Franklin Grant is the audio technician. Jonathan Ortiz is the operations director. Jose Astorga is the studio engineer. Joel Topsick is a consulting producer. And the show is edited by Marangelica De Castro and Derek Bourbon.